So I recently posted something on Instagram where I said, no one wants to join your newsletter. And the amount of DMs I got where were a bit offended was insane. I didn't think it was going to be that emotional. So this video had to be done. So I'm going to be sharing with you 4 things that you can actually send in your newsletter as an event planner or wedding planner, so that you're not actually just having a list of people sitting there and not using them to get more bookings. Hi, I'm Jody Enro, founder of the Event Certificate and eventplanningtemplates.com, and I work with event planners and wedding planners to get them more leads into their business. If you're struggling to get leads, don't hesitate. www.eventcertificate.com, hit that contact and come over and let's chat. So your newsletter is great. And one of the things that I find in the wedding industry and the events industry is that a newsletter is not used very well. I'll be completely honest. Wedding planners are actually one of the worst when it comes to using newsletter. So when you're setting up your website, I think a lot of people will just add a newsletter option because it's sometimes included in the template, or they go to another website and they see it there, so they think, well, I should also have a newsletter. Now, it's great that you think you should have a newsletter and it's great that you add it, but some of the times when I speak to clients and they have a newsletter, I'll ask them, is anyone actually signing up to this? And often they don't, right? They don't get a lot of people signing up for them. So one of the things I often will recommend, and this is a bonus tip not even related to that, is first of all, remove the newsletter title. Because if you're a wedding planner or you're targeting couples who are looking to plan a wedding, I'm going to be completely honest here, and this is where people get offended. Nobody wants to sign up for a newsletter from a wedding planner as they're planning a wedding, right? What is your newsletter offering? Right? If I'm coming to your website as a couple who's about to get married, I'm not coming looking for tips. I'm coming because I'm trying to figure out if it's time to hire someone to help, or if you're the best person, or what packages you're offering, or how those packages can help me, right? Those are the things I'm looking for. So you need to make your newsletter option, which is essentially a way to get someone's email address, a little bit more juicy, right? So you need to make it something specific. What are your potential clients struggling with? Is it that they don't know what to ask their venue when they book it? Is it that they're getting these venue contracts and they don't know what they say, right? Is it that they don't know the best photographers to choose or how to choose them? What are they struggling with at the point where they meet you? And that's not directly related to what you're going to be giving them right now. Whatever that is, you can create a quick little downloadable and make that your sign up for your newsletter, right? So you can say, just sign up here to grab our list of 20 questions to ask on your venue tour, right? Something like that. Because ultimately, newsletter or downloadable, what you're trying to get is someone's email address. Now, here's the second step. Once you have that email address, this is where the other 50% of people I meet get stuck. So you get the email address and that's great, but then you have everyone signing up, they sit on the list and nothing happens. And that is honestly almost as worse as the first thing. So it's great that you got them to sign up, but now you have them on the list, you're not sending them anything, you have all these leads sitting there and you're not actually converting them into a paying client, which is why you have the newsletter option in the first place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you topic ideas that you can use to convert those people so they're not just sitting there and not being utilized to help you get some revenue into your business. So one of the first things you can do if you do have a mailing list and newsletter list is you can send them tips and advice. You should be sending out tips and advice weekly if you have at least 10 people who are not your family members sitting on your list, because this means if they came to your website and signed up, there are people who are actively looking for a planner. So you don't want them sitting until their event date is already passed and then they're basically no use to you because their event's no longer an option, right? So send out tips and tricks weekly. And as your email list is growing, you need to be consistent with this. So what's something that you know that your bride appreciate hearing? Maybe it's something like 3 tips for handling family members who don't want to sit together, or 3 tips for handling family members who want to partake in the wedding, like be entertainment when, let's be honest, they maybe can't sing, right? Something like that. But whatever it is, send out those little tips and tricks weekly. And no, because I get these questions all the time, you sending out tips and trick doesn't mean that you will no longer be needed. There is no tips or trick that you can give by email weekly that should allow somebody to be planning their entire wedding, right? Because that's why they're looking for you in the first place, because they actually need a professional to assist them. The second thing that you can send out is past client events. Yes, I know you have the gallery on your website. I know you have the Instagram account. I know maybe they have seen it, but you actually don't know that for a fact. So highlight some of your past client accounts if you can. Highlight them, send them out and let them know, here's a past client event. Speak a little bit about the event. What was it about? What did they do? What was the outcome, right? Sell them a story so that they can see themselves in that story and want to actually work with you. The third thing that you can send out are do's and don'ts. If you've worked with couples for a long time, even if you've planned 3 weddings, you've probably noticed a couple of things that your clients might have done either before working with you, while working with you, that you would not recommend. Maybe they went ahead and signed a venue contract before they hired the planner. Then it turns out that they didn't read a lot of the clauses and they were trying to do something and they realized they couldn't, right? So I've seen this before. I've seen clients that they booked a venue, they signed the contract, they're all excited, they hire the planner. When the planner comes in, they're saying, well, we want our food catered from this place because, we're doing a cultural wedding and we love their food. And it turns out the venue contract says no outside catering, right? So something like that would make good do's and don'ts. And you can send this weekly as a part of your newsletter option, right? So once a week, you can change up the content. So something like that you can send to say, don't do this or do this, but make sure it's kind of warning stories so people can see, oh, I didn't actually realize that, but at the same time, it shows them that you know what you're talking about because you're giving this information from the perspective of an expert, right? And that's what you want to do. Because the minute they start seeing you as an expert, they're more likely to try to reach out to you to hire you. Now, the fourth thing that you can send to your newsletter are video tutorials. No, your tutorial is not going to be you planning a wedding from beginning to end, but you can give them a little tip or tutorial. So let's say there's something that your brides need to know to do. Maybe it's how to quickly button up your dress on your wedding day if your bridesmaids are not quick available, right? Whatever that is, do a quick video tutorial if you can, and you can share that with your email list. So those are 4 things you can share that will help to place you as an expert in their eyes and help them to try to reach out and connect with you to look into how they can work with you. So if you currently have a news list that you have sitting there, like your mailing list, and it's not being utilized, I highly recommend that you start sending out weekly emails, and you have 4 options right now that you can start with. Now, if you have any questions, drop them below. Now, if you actually want a more extensive list, I do have a list of 52 newsletter topic ideas that you can send out, and I'm going to link it below. And it's available in my template shop. So don't hesitate. Don't sit there with your list, not emailing them, right? Because that's money that you're leaving on the table. Now, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I see you next week.